Hi everyone, so welcome to one of this month's vision videos where today we're going to sum up what the actual Childline vision is, what our core values are, and how we're going to order all the different ideas that we've had together from staff, from volunteers, from children, young people themselves, and from our external partners into a roadmap that makes sense for us as a service and importantly sets us on a path for long-term sustainable growth. So the first thing that I'm going to start with is our mission statement. So if we had to sum up what the vision is for the service, so what do we want the service to mean and be? It's these two sentences. So the first sentence talks to Childline being a listening service at its core. It's one of the fundamental things that makes Childline so brilliant. And I think we need to always stand true to that. So we need to be there when, where, and how young people need us, but what we are there for most is to be a listening service, is to give them that space to, without judgment, without kind of fear of reprisal or anything like that, to just be there to listen to them and to hear what their world is like. The other thing that we can really do as well is we can understand the needs that they're coming through with, and we can really champion them where it matters most. So we can do that on a really wide kind of community level. So to kind of government organizations or to others in the child protection network, we can really kind of bring a real sense of what matters most to young people into those discussions, and influence policy, influence legislation, and influence wider change in society. But we can also do it on an individual level as well. So for any young people that want it, we can talk to the professionals in their lives and help make sure that their voice is heard. And particularly when I think of all the young people that we often engage with through our current Childline Connect part of the service, who often have lots of different professionals in their lives, sometimes for a very long time. One of the things that really happens is those professionals start working with the behavior of the young person and start forgetting that there is actually a young person behind all of this, and all their kind of experiences to date that have got them to the situation that they're in. And that's one of the things that Childline can really do, is help remind those professionals that they are working with a young person and remind them what is most important to that young person and help advocate those needs on behalf of that child or young person. So I think fundamentally this sums up the two things that I think one, Childline already does really well, but a commitment to making sure that in everything we do, this is how we grow the service. This is what we are. This is what we'll always be, and this is what we really want to amplify over the long term. As part of how we do that, so we're going to come on to the things that we want to do as a service just shortly. But one of the things that I think is really important just to bear in mind are our 5 core principles. So these are values that we set as a service a number of years ago, were ratified by the trustees, and are now upheld by the Childline Advisory Group and myself as well. So in everything that we're looking at in Vision, we're really, really clear that we will never, ever compromise these 5 core principles, because these are the things that make Childline Childline. So as an example, volunteers will always be essential to our frontline service delivery. And actually, I really want to grow the volunteer model over the coming years. Our confidentiality promise is so unique, and it's so important to the way we work in Childline. We'll never lose that. What you'll see if you look at the other videos where we talk about young people's feedback, there's work we want to do around the confidentiality promise to make it clearer to young people and make the language more child friendly. But as a fundamental, we will never lose what that confidentiality promise means to children, young people, and the way that we work with them as a service. We'll also always be free. We'll always be 24/7. Again, young people fed back the real importance of us being there for them 24/7. And we need to reflect that in the way that we resource and kind of structure our service as well. And being there for all children, young people, no matter what they want to come through and talk to us about. That's, again, it's one of the really unique selling points about Childline, that we are child and young person centered. We are here for everyone, no matter what they want to talk about. So these things will never, ever be compromised, no matter what change the service needs to go through to evolve to better meet the needs of children and young people. And so how do we actually order all the different things and all the different ideas we have as a service? And what I really want to set out today is that just a reminder that none of this program has come from a place of there are some really big fundamental problems with Childline and we need to fix them. This is actually coming from the point of we are already a fantastic service and we do fantastic work already. but we want growth. We know that we need to grow. We need to keep ourselves relevant, and we need to be there for children, young people. Their needs, the world around them is evolving every single day, and we need as a service to keep up with that if we're to be there for children, young people long into the future. And what I really want to do is I really want to be able to give the service a blueprint for how we achieve that long-term sustainable growth, to just be there for children, young people in the future, and to really meet all those needs. But the first thing we need to do in order to grow is we must first make sure we're in the best place to meet those needs, to meet the needs of the young people coming through right now today. So that's how we're planning to order the kind of ideas. We've got these three sections here over the next 7 years. It's not about having a crystal ball and knowing exactly what 2032 will look like for us or for children, young people, but it is making sure that actually we have a clear sense of how we want to order things, what the kind of core groupings of all the ideas will be, and making sure that any decisions we make in year 1 are based on where we want to be in year 7, so that everything feels logical, it has a purpose, it has a structure. It's not just a kind of very short-term lens of just this year, and then we'll think about the next steps. So the first couple of years, what we'll do is we will focus on understanding the needs of the children, young people coming through right now. And we've done so much of that in Vision to date through the engagement with young people directly, but also if you think back to where we started from and identifying the three groups of young people. So our one-off or infrequent users, our regular users, our nighttime only users. And it's about how can we better meet the needs of those children, young people? How can we better support our staff and volunteers to be there for those children, young people? And how can we better provide them with the tools they need in order to do that? So that'll be the first couple of years focus. And once that's kind of bedded in, that will give us a really, really solid foundation that we can actually just grow the service. So by year 3, what we'd really like to see is a complete overhaul of our technology. We know it needs to be so much better than what it is now. And actually, there is so much potential for being able to actually allow people to really focus their time on talking with children, young people, or supporting others to talk to children, young people. And those are the core things we need to get right. We need things that are simple, intuitive, reliable, secure, and we can give the service all of that, and in a position that can really let us make the most of the volunteer and staff resource that we have and be there for as many children, young people as possible. So we get the right foundations right. We then have a really big technology boom in year 3, and we can then just hit the word go kind of thing for the service and really see it grow. And once we start kind of seeing bigger volumes coming in, and we're in a place where we can handle that really easily, what we'll start then thinking about is how we broaden the reach of the Childline service. So we're not talking about all the normal kind of things that are already ongoing as part of our BAU work in terms of increasing our accessibility, thinking about EDI. We're talking about big things. So again, you'll see if you watch the feedback from young people, it's things like they would like to talk to us in different languages, and actually that should be something we are considering for the future. It doesn't mean that we'll achieve it from day 1, and actually I don't even think by year 4, but we should be looking at how do we get there if we want to get there by 2032 kind of thing. And so it's those kind of really big questions that we'll start asking ourselves, but we can only get to that if we've got the right foundations in place, if we're then able to achieve real growth and be able to invite more children, young people to receive our fantastic support, and then we can start broadening out our ask from there. So that's the general kind of concept of how we're going to order the ideas, and start talking to people about the things that we might do that kind of fit into these categories. But hopefully that feels really clear and just gives a sense that the service is on a real trajectory now, to grow and to amplify what it does. And I'm really excited to be able to share that journey with you all, and take Childline to this place over the coming years. Thank you.